It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker.
Yo, man. Oh, Miss Rusty. I just lost my voice. How's everybody doing today? It's third podcast of the day on Wednesday, the 24th of May, and this is on the Quantum Global Broadcasting Network, QGBN, sponsored by Stoner Eats Productions, Fred Ben Savage as fuck, Hardcore Entertainment, Hypnosis is Great, and Sock'emUp.org. There's the five. I know it's five now, so we got that going. So you guys are in for a treat on the podcast. I have a special guest today. I'm going to bring him on right here, right now. And right here, right now, we have Stefon Braxton here with me in the studio. How you doing?
All right, how you doing?
I'm fucking awesome right now. It's a good day, man. So can't really complain. And you gotta do what you gotta do and get out and get into the world of recording. That the recording always goes. And so I'm just gonna kind of I'll go right into it. So with your streaming, you are the host of your own show. And so, I mean, have you always been kind of like had the same format for the show? The show, I'll let you talk about it, if that'd be easier.
Okay, the show's called Comics on Life, and I started that show back in 2011, but I'm here in Pittsburgh. So when I started the show in 2011, we was doing it in the television studio, and I would have comedians from Pittsburgh on the show, plus singers and what have you. And I had co-hosts. I had 5 comedian co-hosts, and we would do the show like that. And it was a live call-in show.
Oh,
And when I started that, and we was doing it in the studio, a lot of comedians, I heard them saying, when they travel, you know, they travel somewhere to do a show, then the venue that they at, they got these cliques there and everything, and people didn't treat them right, and hearing all these stories. So when the pandemic hit,
yeah.
that's when I changed Comics on Life, and we started streaming on Facebook and YouTube Live, UBSM, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV. We on Comcast, we on Verizon, and when I started doing it virtually. Now, when I started doing it virtually, the reason I did that was I wanted comedians to connect with each other from all across the country. So no matter where you go, if you watch the show every week or you're on the show, you'll meet other comedians from different cities all across the country. That way, y'all connect with each other. And if you ever get ready to perform in that city, you hit up that comedian and be like, hey, I'm getting ready to come to your city. Hey, come support me, come help me out, show me where to go eat, hang out with me. And that's what the show is about, for comedians to build one big Comics on Life family.
And you don't have to go on to one of those whatever city or whatever city comics page on Facebook and say, hey, I'm so and so, I'm Rusty, I'm coming in through town. And then you hope you have someone that will vouch for you that you're good, and then you got to go through all that. But if you're in the Comics on Life family,
if you're in the family, you already gonna know somebody in that town. And all you gotta do is just reach out to them, be like, I'm getting ready to come to your town. They be like, all right, I got you. I had this one show, this girl, she was from, I think, Ohio. But for her birthday, she was going out to California to celebrate her birthday.
Yeah.
Well, the show that she was on, it was another girl on there from California.
Oh,
And the other girl said, when you get out here, hit me up. We're going to hang out. I got some shows for you. And she did a couple of shows out there in California with this other girl. And I said, that's what I love. That's what Comics on Life is about.
you're able to set it up and set that, for anyone to be able to get these. I mean, getting booked and having to go and yet not have someone that's there like this set up and like I booked you and I'm trying to book everybody else that was on the show that we did last week on this
Uh-huh.
show, and just try to get it around, because I mean everyone I liked on there, so it worked out pretty easily, and I'm glad we got to do that. And
Yeah,
so
that was
oh
a
good,
pretty funny show. I got a lot of comments on that show.
oh good, yeah, it was and it's group of people. How else would we have met? How else would we have all got together? And you got people from all over the
Yeah,
country and different
that's what this
places.
show is about. You're gonna meet comedians that you'll probably never ever meet before,
Yeah.
and you get to meet them, and you be like, "Dang, I was just in that city. If I would have been on met them earlier, we could have hung out." And that's what it's about. And now we're on in London, the UK, and in Ireland. So if you ever
Oh,
go to any of them, matter of fact, in June, I'm going to have the first comedian on from the UK. And in July, the first comedian on from Ireland is going to be on the show. So if you go to Ireland, you're going to know a comedian there.
all right. Are you planning any trips out that way? Are you wanting to go out to Europe at all? Do some work out
Nah,
there?
I'm not going nowhere.
You're good.
I'm
Good
so
where you?
busy here.
Yeah, I bet. And so one thing I wanted to ask about. So you used to do a call-in show. What was that like? How many? I mean, because call-in shows, I mean, that's something that now, I mean, the equivalent of a call-in show now is people texting. You don't really have the random weirdo dude call in and say something. You never know what it's going to be, and it's
Well, the show, when we first started doing Comics on Life in the studio, and it was a live show, and people can call in because we had the number on the screen.
yeah.
So we would have it would mostly be comedians calling in, talking about the subject that we're talking about. But then you have your little weirdos called in. So it was a little signal that I would give to the program director, cut them off, cut them
Yeah.
off, because we can't bleep or nothing because it was live. But most of the time, everybody that called in, it was really good. And then when I did my 10-year episode, no, my 5-year episode. When I did my 5-year episode,
Yeah.
we had a bunch of comedians on there, and a bunch of comedians called in to wish us, happy anniversary on the 5 years and everything. And so we didn't have to cut nobody off. That show was pretty good, but we did have to cut off a couple people.
I bet. Yeah. I mean, that was the thing back with with a lot of shows, a lot of the public access shows, and there was one guy. He was in Portland and he was in Atlanta for a while, and he used to have his home phone number on the screen the whole time, and so people, I mean, call and just leave the craziest messages, because he was this guy who would do really fucking weird stuff, and like he pushed every envelope you could, very much free speech kind of guy, and eventually got taken off public access because he pooped on that's the one thing you couldn't do. He used to go hang out and at the naked beaches and just go and film around there and stuff, or
Oh,
doing these weird songs and shit. And
wow.
yeah, but then
Well,
he decided to poop.
the most we got was people would call in and they didn't know it was a call-in show. They thought it was an audition. And I'm like,
Oh,
what are you auditioning for? What? No, we don't need to hear all that. They want to give me their resume and everything. I'm like, no, this ain't that type of show.
yes, they start doing a bit and like,
Yeah.
yeah. Did you ever have that happen on your show? Do you ever have someone come on and start doing one of their bits from their act, or is it pretty much people just go and they end up just talking and doing, doing what they
On,
do?
on the show that I do now, the virtual one,
Yeah.
I have some of the comedians, and for some reason, they think it's their show. And they just start going on. I'm like, okay, be quiet. Sometimes I gotta mute them. I just mute them and be like, this is Comics on Life. You keep your answers short. We don't need to know your history. We had this one guy on, and in the introduction, he started talking about his city. He was talking about the crime rate in the city, the dog. And I'm like, what are you doing? I had to mute him.
I'm just trying to get your name, man, just so we can get you going. And yeah,
But
it's
for the most part, though, the comedians I have on my show, they are some great comedians. They're hilarious, and they willing to help other comedians. Because I try to get comedians when I book a show, I try to get comedians because I have at least 5 to 6. So I try to get like at least 3 with more than 5 years experience, and then the other 3 less than 5 years experience, so they can work together, give them some advice, to the new ones, and help them work on their craft. I just want, because me myself as a comedian, I'm 56 years old, so pretty much I'm not going to make it too far. So I want the younger people to get together and help each other and build that Comics on Life family, whereas we going all over the world.
yeah, and I think it's an important thing to be able to help out the younger comedians, take them along and show them, how to do it, I guess, basically, and how to, make the best and be able to give them your, I don't know what the word would be.
Now,
Yeah, go ahead.
now, see what I noticed: a lot of younger comedians,
Yeah.
they think if they just smoke a whole bunch of weed, go on stage and say whatever they want to say, they are a comedian. No, that's not a comedian. A comedian takes the time, write his jokes, study his jokes, perfect his jokes, work on the timing. You just can't go smoke a whole bunch of weed and just go on stage and talk. That's not a comedian. That's just you high talking around people.
Right. Yeah. The stoner what the stoner philosophy.
Yeah.
I can't say the word. I was gonna say I don't know. I was gonna go Bill and Ted, and but yeah, it makes it a lot harder when you don't have that joke or no punchline, or it's yeah, there's definitely a difference and the right time for it and what you're gonna do in your set. And
Yeah.
but
Now
you also go
if
ahead.
you're gonna do that with your friends, and if they laugh, write it down. And then when you're not high, you go over it and you perfect it.
And yeah, have a good set, like, and you can start to toy around with the audience, and then if you need to rope back into that, you go right back into it, and you have your next set to be able to keep moving along, or your next joke to be able to keep it moving along and get yourself to that ending point, whatever it may be, whatever the best
Yeah.
joke is. And
That's just
sometimes,
like
yeah.
I believe his name is Corey Holcomb, and
Oh, okay, yep.
he go on stage, and you think he's drunk because he always had a cup and he's drinking and he be talking, but he really don't be drunk. That's just the way he present his comedy. He don't really be drunk, and that's a cool way. But see, a lot of these young comedians think, "Ooh, he drunk. Let me do it drunk." No, no, that's his style.
Yeah. And
You got
then
to get your own style.
and you're trying to go up and do sets when you're wasted, and then what you think you're doing and saying as opposed to what comes out at the end is pretty different.
I think we talked about that on the show that you was on the last show. Somebody,
I think
um,
so.
they thought they was funny, but they was just drunk.
Yeah, I think that was the show. Yeah. And I mean, it's a good thing to know it, and it definitely changed a lot for shows. Because yeah, when I started, I mean, I was like, that's a good idea. Let's just I'm gonna try not to get drunk, but definitely drink and stuff before. And then yeah, I learned that wasn't a good idea. That didn't last more than a year into it. And then I was like, okay, this is stupid.
Well, before I go on stage, I'll probably have like maybe one drink just to get that edge off.
Yeah.
Just to get that edge off. And I might have like a bottle of water or something on stage. But yeah, you can't do it drunk because the alcohol the alcohol makes you see things that's not there. You'll see people laughing, but they're not really laughing.
Right.
It's in your head.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm crushing it. This is fucking great. And then it's like, oh well, nope. Okay. People watching the tape back and like, oh, okay, that's not good. How are you with watching your sets back when you get home or later? Do you record all your stuff?
Well, actually, I'm at that point now. When I do a show, there's no recording. You can't record any of my shows or anything. So, but after I do a show, I always stay around. I talk to the audience, and well, most of them just come up to me and they be like, "I enjoy your set. I enjoyed that. You had me laughing." That's how I get my feedback.
Yeah.
If I get more than 5, 6, 10 people come up to me and say, "I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it," then I know I did good. But if I get on stage and I'm walking through the crowd and everybody look at me like and turn their head, and I'll be like, "Oh shit, I must have bombed."
Yeah. I know that one. I've definitely had that one before. And it's just like, oh shit, okay. Especially when I thought I did all right. And that's when I learned I need to get better at reading the room. And
That's the first thing when I started doing comedy. Experienced comedian. His name is Ty Mack. He's been on Def Comedy Jam and everything. He's the Big Mac of comedy. And he told me, soon as you get on stage, take that time after the introduction and before you start, take that little 5 seconds and just scan the room. See what you got. The older people, younger people, black people, white people. Scan that room and see what you got, and then start thinking about what material you're going to use.
yeah, I'm doing that usually before, like, if unless I'm first up. If I'm first up, then I'm looking through the curtain like
Oh
this,
yeah, yeah.
doing one of those. If it's comedy or if it's wrestling or whatever, and then before I go up, I'm not usually hanging in the back. Most of the time I'm watching, especially because I don't want to, you know, for the most part, I know the people who are on the shows, what their jokes are, what they are. But if it's some show where I don't know anybody, I want to make sure that I'm not talking about the same thing that somebody else is talking about and doing
Right.
that same kind of material. It's like, well, we already heard someone do it, and it was okay. Well, here it is again, and so then you have to be able to switch that and take that part out and be able to,
Now I
adapt.
think
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest fear of every comedian, going on first.
Yeah, I love it. I love going on first.
For
And
real?
yeah, yeah. I feel I have a lot less nerves if I go on first, because and then plus I get to set the tone of the night, which sometimes can be odd having it be me be on first because I might set kind of a funky tone, but it's it's great. And then the rest of the time I can just sit back and relax, and I don't have to worry about trying to, not worry about doing someone else's or some premise or something that someone else is doing,
Yeah,
and just be able to be able to really just watch the show and not just be thinking about what am I going to do. But then going up late's always kind of nice too, and when you get all the crowd all warmed up, especially if it's at a comedy crowd or like a comedy club where people know they're laughing, and it's not you're doing it at a bar where there's people playing video lottery and shit, and you gotta.
right. And then if you go on later, like the crowd is more drunk.
Yeah,
So it makes
right.
it better.
And ready to yeah, ready to laugh. And especially, yeah, if it's a geez, if it's a I don't know what's going on. I got um I'm on Skype. I got these bots that keep hitting me up, and I only use Skype with one person, but I just get these weird random bots that start hitting me up. And yeah, I mean, but it's just such a difference between working at a comedy club, because I mean, for the most part, I don't want to do too many bar shows if I have the option, especially if I know that they have video lottery or pool. I mean, how many times have been at a show and they got people playing pool in the background,
Hey,
or
hold
not
up.
turning it down for sports.
Wait, here's a funny thing though. I did a show when I first started. I think I was only doing comedy for like maybe a year or two. And I did this show in Toledo, Ohio, and the pool table was on the stage, like in the back of the stage. It was a kind of a big stage. The pool
Yeah,
table was on the stage, and then you had about another 6 feet where you can. They wanted to put the comedy show, so I'm on stage, and these two guys are playing pool behind me. So every time they had a shot on this side, they were like, "Oh, excuse me, bro." And I'm like, I'm trying to do a show here.
oh, bad.
But
Moving out of the way.
I made it where though it was the funniest thing ever. They was cracking up, and I just implemented them into my show. I put them in my show, and I went off of my material and started talking about them playing pool and watching them make this shot and all this, and the crowd loved it.
Yeah,
So sometimes you got to improvise and take your surroundings and make that your show.
because and that's something. Yeah, that's usually something when scanning the crowd. To be able to do that, or if you see, yeah, someone that's been laughing at dumb shit all night. I'm like, oh, that person's going to be, I know what I can do. I know exactly what stuff I can do.
That's
Or,
the one you make eye contact with.
yep, yep. All you have to do is if you can really connect with connect with one person, and then this starts chain reaction. Everybody else starts
Yup.
going, like you said, with the guys playing pool. You get them in it, and then everybody sees how good of a time they're having with you. Being able to do that, those people in the crowd are going to start loving it, and then it's just feeding off everybody, and it works out pretty well. And so, uh, where where are people going to find you? I'll put it in the show notes. How are they going to be able to watch your show? How are they going to be able to get on your show?
Okay. Comics on Life come on every Thursday at 8 p.m. And then every second Thursday of the month, Comics on Life, the night show comes on. And we're on Apple TV, Fire TV, Roku, UBS and Knob TV, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Comcast, and Verizon here in Pittsburgh. You can watch it. A lot of people subscribe to the Comics on Life page on YouTube. Like the Comics on Life page on Facebook. Also, if you're a comedian and you want to be booked on the show, the number is 412-737-9396. Just call me, tell me you've seen this show, and you will be booked. I'm booked all the way up until September, so I'm still looking for comedians for the end of the year. I'll book you on both shows. You don't even have to have, you can have 1 year of comedy. You can have 100 years of comedy. I don't know how good you're going to be with 100 years of comedy, but
We'll see.
You probably got some slave jokes. But anyway.
Probably. Like, okay, well, like, oh yeah, well, I'm 113. Nice.
Yeah. But just call the number. My name is Stefon Braxton. Call the number. I'm booking. YouTube, subscribe to the page. Facebook, like the page. And check us out. It's a funny show. You'll meet other comedians that you can connect with and network with and become part of the Comics on Life family.
Yeah, it's a great time. I enjoyed myself very much. And so, yeah, thank you for that. And one thing, so with your show, there's this new AI thing that will go and split. If it's under 2-hour YouTube video, it'll clip out your video in like 15 different parts, and it'll take like certain things people say and like make it like those YouTube short videos, like already in the format, just ready to go. And they'll do like 15 of them, and they're pretty good, and it's free. And
how you do that?
You copy the YouTube link, you go into opus.pro, and you just drop the link, and then you it sends you an email like 10 minutes to an hour later, and it just has like 15 different clips ready to go, and you can just either upload it from there or download them and then upload them later. It's a game changer, and it would be so good for your show.
Can you text me that or send it to me?
Yeah, I'll do that. Absolutely. Yeah, I'll get that right to you, because it'll be so good for your show just to have those little bits to go up as teasers to bring more people in with that. Someone had been telling me I got to do this, get these little short clips, but I didn't want to edit. I don't have time for that shit, but this does it for you and takes no time. So
wow,
you don't really have much of a, yeah, there's no reason not to. And with so many people saying so many things on it, it'll be good. Yeah, you'll really like it. I'm not getting paid for this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rusty. Yeah, let me send me that in Messenger.
Absolutely. All right. Well, hey, Stefon, thank you for being on, and hopefully we'll cross paths soon here.
All right, thank you for having me on, and I'll be calling you soon to put you on a nice show.
You got it. I'm ready to do that whenever.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Later. All right, that's Stefon Braxton. Short show tonight, you guys, for short people. This show is a shout out. This is my special show for short people. I've had some short episodes today, so if you're a short person, these shows today are for you. That's okay. Tall people can listen to, medium-sized people, everyone can listen. And Stefon is cool. Comics on Life was a real fun time. You can check that out on YouTube. I was on the last one, so if you go on to Comics on Life on YouTube or Facebook, the newest one, I'll be on it. You can see me, and you can see Stefon, and I think 4 other comedians who will be on this show later on. So this is the public access podcast, the podcast for returning guest right there. That's a shout out to returning guest. I don't know if he came up with the podcast. I believe he did, But if not, he was definitely somebody who said podcast a number of times. So shout out to him. And thank you for listening. This is on the Quantum Global Broadcasting Network, brought to you by Stoner Eats Productions, Hypnosis is Great, Hardcore and Comedy, Fred Ben Savage as Fuck, and SockEmUp.org. Check those out. I'm gonna put all this stuff in the comments or in the description for you guys. And you guys, thank you, thank you, thank you. And that is the show, man. Boom!
It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker. It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker.
Ernest! Ernest! Ernest!
Yes, Pee-wee.
You brought the snacks, right?